call the meeting to order. Ms. Atwood?
Yes, notice of this meeting was given to all board members and associates in a meeting notice dated March 11th, 2026. Furthermore, on that date, a copy of such notice was posted on the district's website and on the bulletin board at the entrance of the boardroom in the Hamilton Square Administrative Building. Please rise for the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Atwood, roll call.
Mr. Kanka,
Here.
Dr. McSheen,
Here.
Gales,
Here.
Dodo. Here. Stanton,
Here.
Williams,
Here.
Dr. Farrar,
Here.
Harvey. Here. Thornton.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. So this evening, we do have some special guests here. We're going to move the agenda around just a little bit, and I'm going to pass it on to Dr. Rocco.
Good evening, everyone. We do have two presentations tonight. We're very excited to have our groups of students with us. First, we're going to start with Crockett Middle School, and Mr. Finaccio is going to come up and introduce our students as they read a proclamation for Disability Awareness Month.
Good evening. My name is Matt Finaccio. I'm the proud principal of Crockett Middle School. One of the reasons I am so proud is because of our staff and our students. So at this time, I'm going to introduce Ms. Nicole Gentz and Anaya Pratt to come up and read their proclamation.
We chose a theme involving cars and traveling on a road this year because Mr. Finaccio picked a theme for Crockett, and it's an acronym CAR. So C standing for communication, A standing for accountability, and R standing for respectfulness. So our theme this year is merging differences and driving forward together. All right, so you're up. Okay.
Different roads in different ways, different speeds on different days. Some drive fast, some drive slow, but we all have places we can go. Different drivers, different lanes, sunny skies, and sometimes rain. Side by side, our engines start our big road, one open heart. Some roads twist and some roads go straight. Some arrive a little late. Some turns we didn't know, yet still our journey helps us grow. Mile by mile, we find our way, learning from one another each day. Through our paths may twist and wander, it is together that we are stronger.
Good job. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming up and reading up here for us. Thank you. And now I would like to introduce Mr. Ragazzo, who is going to introduce our Nottingham STEP team. And just so you know, we are going to come off of the stage so that we can watch from down there.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Frank Ragazzo, and I am the proud principal of Nottingham High School, and it gives me great pleasure to be able to bring up for you tonight our two advisors for the Nottingham STEP team. The STEP team has been performing, they did a bunch of shows throughout the district. They even traveled to Rider University and performed 2 times this year, so we're very lucky to have them performing for us at the board meeting tonight. So I'd like to bring up at this time Ms. Davis and Ms. Ryan to just give you a little brief introduction about what the STEP team does and what they're all about. So come on up here, ladies. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Oh.
Okay. I don't like the microphone.
Good evening, everyone. I am Melissa Ryan. And I am Kimberly Davis. And we are the advisors for the Nottingham High School STEP team. The Nottingham STEP team is more than just a club. It is a sacred tradition at Nottingham High School that builds confidence, discipline, and pride in our students. Our team performs at basketball games, school events such as our Black History Month assemblies throughout the district. We actually performed at all 3 middle schools this year except Crockett because I had to be canceled. Sorry, next year. Due to this inclement weather. Yes. too much. And most recently, they had the honor of performing at both the Rider University men's and women's basketball games.
Good evening. What many people don't see behind the scenes is the dedication it takes. Our students practice 4 times a week for at least 2 hours each evening, spending countless hours working together to create and perfect their routines. The program you will see today reflects their hard work, their commitment and passion towards this sport. That's what we call it. It's a sport. We are incredibly proud of our talented and dedicated 2025-2026 Nottingham STEP team. Thank you and enjoy.
Ladies.
You guys are amazing. Like year after year, you guys get us pumped up, and you guys are probably the most fun about after the game. Just the performance that you guys always give. So I just want you guys to know the impact that you have on the fans, you know, and that everybody who's in the school that comes to see the games and when you guys perform. There's no doubt. 2 hours a day, I can see you guys are very disciplined. You guys move with purpose. So I just want to say thank you for what you guys do. Yeah.
too, but show them
Oh, yeah.
that too. They start in high school.
The first time I showed them files.
Have a nice evening. Thanks again. And she started when she was your age.
Yeah. Oh, they're in gymnastics too. So.
Right? So you never know.
Ew.
You might have the next.
I know. That's not happening, but.
Okay, at this time, if I can have a motion to go into executive session?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion passes.
Whereas NJSA 10:4-13 requires adoption of the board to go into executive session, be it resolved that the board pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, New Jersey, Title 18A, and the Hamilton Township of Board of Education Bylaw Number 0166 hereby enter executive session to discuss a matter involving human resource matters and matters falling under the attorney-client privilege. Be it further resolved that the minutes of this executive session shall be made public following formal action by the board and/or at the conclusion of any investigation, due process proceeding, or litigation, so long as not prohibited by law and so long as the need for maintaining confidentiality no longer exists.
Okay. We will be in the library, right down here.
And at this time, again, I'm going to move around our agenda. I am going to start with our student representatives. I am going to start with Edris Soto from Steinert.
Hello. For those who don't know me, I'm Edros Sotos, and I'm Steinert's school board representative. I'd just like to thank everybody for coming out today. I want to start by recognizing Steinert's accomplishments when it comes to music and arts. Steinert's jazz band has been on a roll, placing the highest in the NJAGE state preliminaries. Steinert senior Jack Charkis received the award for Best Soloist of the Night, and Steinert also received the Best Trombone Section award. Steinert also hosted their yearly Friends of Steinert Jazz Fest, which was a hit with amazing performances from every school who participated. On the note of Steinert events, Steinert's junior prom is tomorrow. Juniors have been prepping their suits and dresses all for this memorable night and are very excited to make this a lasting memory with their friends before senior year. I hope that every junior has a fun time and can really appreciate the night. Finally, Steinert's AP Government and Gallery students have recently returned from their 3-day Washington, D.C. trip. Students on this trip were able to explore the different varieties of museums and informational buildings that D.C. has to offer. Students were also lucky enough to meet with Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito. He gave students some insight on his day-to-day responsibilities and what it means to be a Supreme Court Justice. Being a Steiner alum, Alito embodies everything we stand for at Steiner, and we hope that all future Steiner students can be as successful as he is. That is it for my report.
Thank you very much. And now I will move on to Diamond Tran from West.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Diamond Tran. I'd like to start off by highlighting something really exciting. Our Hamilton West girls wrestling team had an incredible season. They finished with a 13-4 record, placed second at the CVC tournament, and were ranked 14th in South Jersey by NewJersey.com. At the first ever district tournament in Point Borough, we had 2 district champions and 2 additional place winners, sending 4 wrestlers to regionals. From there, Kayla Verera and Hannah Abdelnabi made it all the way to the state tournament in Atlantic City, where they placed in the top 12 in their weight classes. We are so proud of all of our wrestlers and everything they accomplished this season. We'd also like to congratulate Steinert wrestlers Ella Johnson and Rowan Lacey Cancel for placing in the top 8 at states. Let's go Hamilton ladies. Beyond athletics, it's been a busy and exciting time at Hamilton West. Early this month, from March 5th to March 7th, students put on the prom musical, and it was a huge success. It was great to see so many students involved in supporting the arts. Following the prom musical, we have an actual prom tomorrow for the junior class taking place at Top Golf, which is a first in Hamilton West history. We hope it's a great success and students enjoy their time. Our clubs have also been doing amazing things. HOSA, the Health Occupation Students of America Club, recently welcomed a guest speaker, Jaylene Figueroa, a former Hamilton West student who came back to share her experiences and give insight to careers in the medical field. It was very inspiring and meaningful for everyone involved. In addition, the Spanish National Honor Society will be hosting their induction ceremony on March 31st, celebrating students and their hard work. Looking ahead, we're excited to welcome incoming students at our 8th grade orientation on March 25th at 6 p.m. at Hamilton West. We are also prepping for the spring door decorating contest where students and teachers have the opportunity to decorate their doors and bring excitement for the new season. And as we head into spring, we're excited for upcoming sports season and hoping for a lot of success and great finishes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now Daniela Ortega for Nottingham.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Daniela Ortega. So this month, our school was filled with lots of exciting events and lots of school spirit. We wrapped up the final performances of the school play, Beehive, the 60s musical. They showcased their hard work and dedication and after weeks of preparation. At the FBLA conference in Atlantic City, our student, Estuardo Cardenas, earned an impressive 3rd place representing our school with excellence. This month, we also held our AP Potential Assembly, where students were encouraged to challenge themselves academically and consider enrolling in advanced courses for the following year. Academic awards were also presented to the 10th, 11th, and 12th graders, recognizing their commitment and success in their classes. Our spring sports team officially began their seasons, bringing excitement and school pride to our community. Additionally, the North Star Marching Unit participated in their first indoor percussion competition, marking an important milestone for the group. Finally, our student government hosted the first ever Spring Fling. There were games, snacks, and music. Overall, it was a month full of achievement, involvement, and memorable experiences for our school.
Thank you very much. As always, we always love hearing all of the wonderful things going on at our high schools, so we thank you all very much. At this time, I'm going to, again, move around the agenda, and I'm going to go to Board of Education announcements. I'll start with Dr. McSheen.
No announcements for me, but thank you.
Ms. Soto.
I'm going to take Dr. McSheen's time because I've
Okay.
got a few announcements. First, I just wanted to congratulate Ms. Laudino and Dr. Disler on a great 4th annual district community fair. It was held at Crockett Middle School. It was very well attended and featured participation from many numerous community providers and service providers. It was a free event designed to strengthen connections between families and local organizations supporting our students through their educational journeys. It featured student performances, music, fun activities. They had snacks and treats and prizes. There were many, many people there. So congratulations to you both. It was a wonderful event. While I was there, I stopped by the Steiner High School PTS A table and learned that they were awarded a grant from National PTA. It was through a partnership with TikTok, and TikTok had provided $300,000 nationwide to support the Create Kindness program, which promotes conversations between teens and their families around online activity and digital boundaries. We discuss digital safety and well-being, access and equity, and digital literacy. So our Steiner High School PTSA was only one of 2 awarded in New Jersey, both of them from Mercer County, so that's very nice too. So congratulations to the Steiner High School PTSA and to West Windsor-Plainsboro. They are using their funding, so they were awarded $3,000 to host information tables at the 8th grade open house, and then of course, as I mentioned, they were at the district community fair. I also learned that Steiner High School's MSA is hosting their first Eid Fest this Saturday, March 21st, from 5 to 9 p.m. at the high school. It's a community potluck. It will feature a number of activities like Eid crafts and games, henna art, and additional information can be found. It's only open to HTSC families, but additional information can be found on the MSA Google Classroom.
What time again, Ms. Soto?
Yes.
5 to 9?
5 to 9, I'm sorry. I will be attending Steiner High School's After Prom Committee Tricky Try this Friday. They hold it annually to raise funds for after prom events. And I just really wanted to thank the many local businesses that generously donate items and prizes to events like these, not just the Tricky Try, but to all of our schools and the many activities. We certainly would not be able to raise these vital funds without them. I believe they're at capacity, but I just wanted to take a moment to thank our local businesses. And then finally, Greenwood Elementary has their 5th grade wax museum coming up. That will be next Thursday, the 26th, and it's going to be the culmination of a learning experience dedicated to historical figures. So the students will be conducting their research, writing an essay, presenting it to their class, and showcasing their creativity. So I look forward to being there.
Thank you, Ms. Soto.
I do want to preface, I know it seems like I talk about Greenwood and Steiner a lot. They're my schools on the board, so it's not like I don't love the other schools. Yeah. I just keep more of a pulse on what's going on with them.
Thank you, Ms. Soto. Mr. Scales.
Thank you, Madam President. I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge 2 individuals that our community lost, one on Saturday and unfortunately one today. On Saturday, we lost Gil Lugosi, who dedicated most of his adult life to public service. He started on this Board of Education back in 1963 as a 27-year-old school board member and served with distinction for 3 terms. In fact, he, in 1967, became board president. And then he went off to serve as Mercer County Sheriff, the position that many of us know him as holding. But I will say, despite the many professional accomplishments that Gil had over the years, he was always proud of his association with this school district. As we all know, his brother Frank, was he your principal, Denise?
He was,
He
yeah.
was Denise's principal, Frank Lugosi at Steiner. But Gil was so proud to be affiliated with the school district, having lived down the street from Hamilton High West. And so we keep Gil's memory alive, and he is up in heaven reunited with his wife, Lee. And sadly, today we lost Keith Hamilton. We used to refer to him as Big Keith because he was massively tall. Keith served on this Board of Education in 1991 and later went on to serve as a county commissioner. And like Gil, Keith was very invested in this community, and we mourn his loss as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Scales. Ms. Stanton.
Yes, thank you. I want to start by thanking the pre-K class at Layler Elementary School, the 4th graders at Kisthart, and the 5th graders at Klockner for hosting me for Read Across America Week. It's always great to visit our schools and see how our buildings are running and what our students are learning. So it was great to visit all 3 of those schools. I also want to thank all of the other readers, community members that came to our elementary schools to read for the Read Across America Week. I did want to give a few reminders. We do still have a few of our orientations coming up for Crockett, and let's see, what's our other orientation? Reynolds, thank you. So we still have our orientations for Crockett and Reynolds. Crockett also has their spring play, Legally Blonde, which should be starting and happening this weekend. And there's one other thing I wanted to share on here, but I will leave it at that. Oh, otherwise, yes, today, unfortunately, I saw a young student at one of our elementary schools in the morning driving a electric bike. Thankfully, they did have a helmet on, but I did want to, again, remind the community that there is a policy in place that all electric bikes, scooters, skateboards are not allowed on campuses for the safety of everyone. I was really worried about our crossing guard this morning over at Sayin, so really let's try to enforce that and make sure that your children and students aren't bringing those to school. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Stanton. Ms. Harvey?
Thank you. I want to also congratulate Dr. Rocco and the entire administrative team on the community fair, which was a tremendous success. When I popped in and saw a lot of great community members and families were attending and getting a lot of useful information. I also want to thank Klockner for hosting me as a guest reader for Read Across America Day. It was a fun day reading to first graders who appreciated my reading to them. I also attended the Reynolds Rock of Ages play, which was a great production. I'm not sure if Dr. Rocco knows, but he actually was in the play. And the intermission was the most fun intermission I think I've ever been to out of any play, as our teachers actually led a mosh pit and band of rock music through the 80s and 90s, so it was a lot of fun. I, like Ms. Stanton, invite everyone to Legally Blonde this weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday at Crockett. Tickets are still available. And I also invite everybody to Grace for Beauty and the Beast. That is also the following Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So hopefully you can come out and check out the last two of our play productions because our students really work hard and it's a lot of fun. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Harvey. Ms. Williams?
Thank you. I just want to remind everybody about Donors Choose. So if you can, just take a moment to go onto the Hamilton Township website and just look for Donors Choose, because there's a couple of fundraisers that are going on where you, the public, and your families can support. Every little bit helps. I mean, we have one that I'm looking at right now that there's $126 still needed, and these go right to the specific teacher in their classroom to help their students just, you know, have what it is that they need to raise the money for the things that they need. So it goes a long way, and you know, together the community can make a difference. So if you just take a moment to go to Donors Choose and spread that word if you can, that's very helpful and appreciative. And one of the great things about it too is that you don't have to be in a Hamilton Township school district to support it. So if you have family, aunts, uncles, grandparents throughout the country, you can send the links to them also, or you can ask them to help support it in some way. And like I said, a little bit goes a long way. It takes a village. The other thing I wanted to say is I did attend Nottingham's play this year. It was phenomenal. We loved it. I plan on going to more plays because I know the middle schools still have theirs. So just, you know, it was especially here. It took place here for the first time in the new auditorium. The sound system was wonderful. I know that we're going to be working with the other schools to update their auditoriums in the future too. So it was a wonderful event and a great time was had by all. I also want to say congratulations. The community fair was a great night out. There was so many vendors there and so many of the public came out to support, which it was very nice to see. You got to see a lot of the families, parents, even students. So that was a very well-attended evening, I thought. And I wanted to also thank Klockner for asking me to take part in Read Across America for the first grade students. It was really a very good time. It was nice to be there, and they were so excited. They were so excited, and they couldn't wait to read. They got on the mat in front, and they got in front, and they were just like, they were asking questions, and they were very excited. So that was a nice day too. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Dr. Ferrara?
So, Mr. Scales, you know better than to not check with me. I too wanted to talk about Gil Lugosi. He actually ran in '62 at the age of 25. So he was the youngest person to run for school board until you came along in 2014 at the age of 18. I think most of us last saw Gil on February 14th at St. Philip's Church, where we all celebrated Martin Luther King that evening for the first time in St. Philip's. I did some digging today, of course. Gil lived in the township for 17 years before he ran. He was a 1954 graduate of Hamilton High West, and he graduated from Brown University with a bachelor's in liberal arts and a major in political science. He also served in the military at Fort Dix and at Fort Rucker in Alabama. It was kind of fun to read articles from 1962. He actually won his seat and became vice president. And during his tenure, there were two things that happened that were interesting. In 1964, we did not fingerprint teachers. And one of the board members came to the board and said, we need to be fingerprinting teachers because I just got my law degree and I have to be fingerprinted as a lawyer, so why aren't we fingerprinting teachers? And it actually was a controversy. There was like a big, long article in the newspaper about one of the teachers was quoted as saying, well, what are they going to think of next? So that was kind of interesting. And then the other interesting thing is that at the time, I guess board members brought their spouses to Atlantic City for the board meetings for NJSBA, and Gil was engaged, not married, and the board member said, yeah, just bring your fiance, we'll put her in a separate room, and the board will pay for it. And that turned into a controversy. So it was really interesting. Gil certainly left his mark in the community, and he was 90 when he died. I too would like to thank all the schools that invited us. Read Across America Week is one of my favorite. I too read at Klockner. We read about David Attenborough. I read it at Kistart, which is my liaison school, and I actually had the opportunity, and I may ask Ms. Audino for help here, I read to 2 special ed classes at Scion, and they the social thinking classes. They were so fun. I usually read at World Read Aloud Day with one of our parrots who couldn't come this year because it was too cold. She had had a stroke. So I did a PowerPoint, and I read about the parrot with the kids, and they were like right there. They asked great questions. It was so much fun. And when I got done, one little boy said, could I have a copy of that, please? Which just made my day. So next year I want to do Read Across America and Write Across America. I think we need to institute that, but it was great fun. And I too enjoyed the community fair, which Ms. Audino's team is just amazing at putting that together. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ferrara. Mr. Kanka.
Yeah, good evening. I want to give a shout out to Principal Mrs. Young over at Science School. I attended the Wax Museum last week, and boy, these kids really put together some amazing projects over there. I was just stunned by the way that these kids, 5th graders, put all these projects together, and it was really a nice event to attend. I saw a lot of things over there that I didn't even know existed, as far as, you know, what I didn't know a lot of the things that they were reaching out to, and they were all in costume too. So, you know, somebody was over there. They were talked about the Wright brothers, and they were dressed up. You know, he was dressed up like one of the Wright brothers. It was really nice, and I just wanted to piggyback on what Mrs. Stanton had brought up about the e-bikes. I don't know if anybody's aware of this, but in July of 2026 coming up, there's been a lot of regulations that have been mandated by the state of New Jersey. The minimum age for those bikes now is 15 years old. You have to have a valid either an e-bike driver's license, or if you're over 15 and you have a regular driver's license, a card license, that's valid. You have to wear a helmet, and you have to get insurance, and it's got to be registered. So that all takes place in July of 2026. So, I mean, everybody lives in a neighborhood somewhere. I see them things buzzing up and down the street. You know, these kids are 8, 9, 10 years old, and they don't wear no helmets or nothing. And but I guess in July things are going to change a lot for that. So just wanted to make the public aware of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kanka. So I would like to add, I was also able to attend the community fair. It was a wonderful event. I thank Ms. Audino and her department, student services, her team. I also, the CPAG group, it was just our community. It was just a wonderful event. And I look forward to next year's. I also had the pleasure of attending the Unified Basketball Games at Hamilton West. For those that are not familiar with this program, Hamilton West's Unified Sports Journey began in 2013 with the Get Into Your Game initiative, followed by their inaugural home basketball tournament in 2014. Since then, this annual event has become a staple at Hamilton West, including hosting teams from across the county. Through the Play Unified program, our athletes have competed in prestigious venues like Rider and Princeton University in both soccer and basketball. They are more than just a sports program. They are a community where hundreds of students lead, compete, and champion one another. As pioneers in the first ever NJSIAA Unified Sports events, we are proud here in Hamilton to be state champions in track and field, and as a recognized National Unified Champion banner school. Our club remains a year-round force for inclusion, hosting kickball games, field days, and spirit events that prove we are always better when we play together. I want to thank our club, our Unified Sports, and everyone that participates in it. If anyone has ever had an opportunity to attend, you truly see the meaning of this program, and it's wonderful. So again, I want to thank everyone. So if anyone from the board at the next game, if you get a chance, it's definitely a wonderful event to attend.
Do you have a date?
I don't know when the next one will be, but I'll make sure that we put it on the schedule. So again, thank you. And with that, I am going to move on to Dr. Rocco for the superintendent report.
Good evening, everybody. First, I want to acknowledge that we are in the newly renovated Nottingham Auditorium. And short clap. Yep. If you ever sat in those old wooden chairs, you know the joy of those cushions now. I've spent many, many nights in old wooden chairs. But as part of what we've been trying to do as a district over the years is we've tried to modernize our facilities. And this space was the original space. And we have 2 other original spaces that we'll be modernizing also. But it came out beautifully. It's been used already for the musical. The students are in here. Our students and our community deserve a nice modern space. So we're enjoying being here. I hope you're enjoying being here. Like others at the dais today, I too would like to acknowledge the passing of Gil Lugosi. I last spoke to Gil in February at the MLK celebration. He's a wonderful man. He was proud of Hamilton and he was proud of our schools. We are all blessed to have known him. And when I was talking to him downstairs after the ceremony, he was talking to me a little bit about his time in the schools and sharing some of the history. And as a history person, I really enjoyed having those conversations with him. A reminder to our parents that school is closed this Friday. Your kids are not joking with you. They are off. It is a professional development day for our staff. I joined the board members in thanking Ms. Audino and Dr. Disler and their teams for organizing another wonderful community fair. The community fair has grown over the years. It was packed, and when I got there, I knew that there were going to be a lot of people there because there was no place to park, and Mr. Joshua was parked up on the grass. I know he's here, so he heard his name, so he turned around. So it was busy and it was packed, and that was wonderful. We had lots of families talking with different organizations and services that are in our communities. As for events and activities. Everybody's asking about the school calendar for next year. And on this month's agenda is next year's calendar. I would like to thank the Anonymous Committee, who works very hard in developing this calendar every year. We do understand when the calendar comes out that people are not always 100% happy with the days, but I want to explain a few things. And I've done this before, and I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but some basic things. Students have to go to school between September 1st and June 30th. They have to go 180 days. We do not have air conditioning in the majority of our buildings. So one of the goals of our school district is to try and get out earlier in June before it gets too hot for students and staff. So I just talk about that. I will write more in the community update about how we develop the budget for this month. Summer camp registration. We had a couple nice warm days and then they were gone, but it does remind us that summer is coming. We currently have 521 campers. 7 camps are full already and registration is still open, but our registration rate is already ahead of last year's rate. Starting in September of 2026, this is for families, parents, students. All K-12 schools will be required to have a bell-to-bell cell phone ban in the schools. This is a state law that was signed in January of 2026. This includes all phones and connected devices. Laptops and Chromebooks are not included in that ban. Phones will need to be off and away. We will be providing additional information each month as we get closer to September 1st. The bulk of the rest of my report will be the tentative budget, and I will be stepping out from behind the dais. I'm going to ask the board in a moment to also join me out there because we are going to bring down the projector for the presentation. But before I close out my report, I would like to acknowledge and thank Mr. Anthony Scotto for 8.5 years of working here in Hamilton as the Director of Curriculum and Instruction. At the end of this month, Mr. Scotto will retire with 31 years in education. He has tirelessly worked to improve teaching, learning programs, and resources. From collaborating with our kindergarten teachers, supervisors, principals, and fellow directors on developing our Jump Start to K program, to holding potential AP programs for students, to be motivated to take our advanced placement classes, to working with higher education institutions so our students can earn college credits while in high school at a reduced rate. We have a champion for all students. Many of you don't know, but he works 7 days a week, sending emails and texts and completing projects on days and during hours when many of us are doing other non-work related things. I'd like to personally thank Mr. Scotto and congratulate him on your well-deserved retirement.
If you wouldn't mind joining me. We'll move on to the tentative budget.
Yep.
Do you want these down?
No, this is good.
Okay.
So it should be- Stay away from that.
Let me get back to my...
Okay. Good evening, everybody. We're going to talk about the tentative budget for the 2026-27 2027 school year, and I'm trying to figure out how far I can walk before I start creating interference here on the screen. We're good? Okay, so I'm going to walk you through the tentative budget here and then open it up for questions to the board and the public. So this is our normal calendar associated with developing the budget. Every time I come up and present here, I move the little yellow box. So we are here now in the tentative budget approval process, but what I want to let you know is we really started this process back in December of 2025, and there are many steps along the way to actually develop and submit a budget to the county and the state. We always have goals associated with our budget presentation. We have 5. These have been consistent over the time that Ms. Atwood, my senior staff, and I have built these out over those 9 years. So equity is number 1, learning acceleration and SEL is number 2, addressing the New Jersey student learning standards is number 3, security, safety, and infrastructure is number 4, and budget stability is number 5. You will see a red asterisk now in front of budget stability. It's the first time we've put that there, and I identify that over the last 9 years, we have worked to build budgets with an eye on the next 2 to 3 years. HTSD has prepared for the future financial storm. The storm is here. And it's not just here in Hamilton, it's here everywhere in the state of New Jersey. I'll talk a little more about it as I get to another slide. But I'm sure many of you, if you pay attention to the news and read what's happening around the state, you are reading about the struggles of budgets and school districts associated with health benefits and rising costs. We're going to go over all that in a couple of minutes. But what is this budget? What am I presenting to you today, and what should you expect over the next couple of slides? This is a maintenance budget. We are maintaining programs, resources, and staff. Right? So you're not going to see a lot of growth. You're not going to see a lot of change. The goal here is maintenance. Prior to receiving our state aid, which we're going to talk about in a couple of minutes, we did prepare for reductions. So we had every department, including our schools, developing their budgets, create budgets that were flat, and also create budgets that had up to a 15% reduction. We did not, I'm going to be very clear here and repeat this one again, we did not require our departments or our schools to implement a reduction in any way, shape, or form. They stayed flat. So they used their existing allocations for next year's budgets. Okay? We always put up a big number here, $53,586,725. This is the number that gets calculated in the state system for what's called under adequacy. And basically, it's a formula that the state has that determines how much the tax levy is under adequate, or how much less is in the tax levy than the formula says that should be there. So right now we're at 53 million and change right here. It's dropped a little bit from 25-26, but what it says is that the tax levy should have about 53 million more dollars. That's a hard conversation to have at a budget meeting when we're talking about raising taxes or how much the taxes are going to be raised. What does under adequacy mean? What are the components? Well, we're going to post this online tomorrow for you. You'll be able to see this. But you can see the basic concept in New Jersey is we have to provide a thorough and efficient education. And how do you do that? There are lots of different aspects of a thorough and efficient education in determining if it's adequate. Per pupil amounts, student weights, local cost, equalized aid. And there are all different pieces to this calculation. Ms. Atwood actually broke the calculation down a little bit for us over the years. And so if you'd like to dig deeper into it, you can do so because it will be online for you. So that's under adequacy. That's where the state says we are. What are the factors that go into this budget when we begin to build a budget and we're trying to decide what should be funded, what can be funded, what do we want to be able to fund? Well, the first thing is enrollment with our students. And what you will see, and this is pretty consistent with the new demographic study that we had done a couple of years ago, is that we continue to go up. So next year we estimate having about 12,286 students in Hamilton Township Public Schools. And we estimate that the charter school number, which is the red number up here, is going to go from 487 to 520. Okay, so you can see the trajectory of our enrollments. We do project increase. We do project that increase to be at the secondary division over the elementary division. We are beginning to see a slowdown and a little bit of a reduction at the elementary division. And that's going to show up in this budget in a couple of minutes. When we talk about an increase in charter schools, we see that next year we project to pay $9.7 million towards charter schools, which is a projected increase of over $1 million. That comes out of our budget. Aside from rising enrollment, we have rising costs. No surprise to anybody, but by percentage, property and liability insurance is going up 20% next year. Health benefits is going up 19.6%. I'm also going to let you know that this number percentage in health benefits was higher a couple of weeks ago in projections and has come down. It is still an unsustainable number for the future. Workers' comp, 17%, PERS and pension, 8.5%, and transportation, 3.58%. When I talk about health care costs, and I say it's unsustainable for the future, not just in Hamilton, but all across the state of New Jersey, I'm going to direct your attention right here to 2024-2025. This is when the district implemented our own self-insurance plan. And what you're going to see is we saw a slight savings. We expected that. We wanted that. That's why we went with self-insurance. About this time, right around this time here, when we settled negotiations, in that settlement of the negotiations, we not only brought up salaries to be comparable to school districts around us so that we could attract good instructional staff, but we also heard the community. So the community said two things. They said, pay our teachers more so it's comparable, and provide family health benefits from day one when people are employed. In the negotiations, the board and the bargaining unit agreed to this, and it was approved. And we're all happy that that happened because it's done a couple of things. It has increased our pool of applicants that we have, and Dr. Copeland, who's in charge of our HR department, produces a list for our personnel committee every month, and he shows us where the vacancies are across the district. Those vacancies have reduced dramatically because we are filling positions and we're maintaining positions. But when we did that, more people began to take family health benefits. And as the state health benefit plan has gone well over 30%, and we live very close to Trenton, so we have a lot of people that work for the state here, more people switched out of the state plan and came into our plan. And so what we've seen is we've seen this dramatic increase here in projection. This 9.6% increase this year is $8.1 million. That number is going to come up in a couple minutes again, $8.1 million. But this is an unsustainable increase everywhere. Just was at Rider University today for a meeting of the Garden State Coalition of Schools. We had somebody who is executive director of their government department there speaking and talking about how this is happening all across the state of New Jersey. When you look a little deeper into some of these driving costs here, obviously we talked about medical. We have this inflationary costs on all services. Obviously we talked about the charter school projections. We talked about DOE. We have out-of-district costs, so when we have students going out of district, those have increased 8, 10, 12, 15%. I want to direct you here. You know that the S word is not a word we're allowed to say in board meetings, snow, because of the fear of what's going to happen with the snow. Come on, I got to roll the dice on snow at the end of March. But our overtime, it's a bad winter. It was a very bad winter. It was a very cold winter. We spent more on keeping our buildings heated and cleaning up our buildings from snow and ice than we've probably spent in the last couple of years. So that budget went way up. And then you can see, all the other items that go into and these challenges that are associated with building the budget. Even though I've directed all departments and all schools to have flat budgets. That doesn't mean that we don't continue to modernize. It doesn't mean that we don't continue to get new materials. The departments just need to do it within the budget that they have. And so two budgets that I'm going to highlight here, two departments that I'm going to highlight here are Student Services and C&I. So within the C&I department, you are going to see new enhancements next year within the budget confines that I've established. So Mr. Scotto, would you like to just talk to us a little bit about what some of those enhancements will be for next year?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Rocco. Good evening. We, over the last few years, have updated and maintained our world language textbooks and replaced them, and the German language program will be our final phase of that world language replacement. Last year, with the support of the board and the budget, we were able to implement a new 8th grade social studies series, and we are looking to expand that to grades 6 and 7. Our elementary division is long overdue for a social studies series, so I've recommended phase 1 of a new social studies adoption, particularly focusing on grades 4 and 5, to then connect to the new additions and implementation of program in the middle school. We have made a lot of positive enhancements in our business programs, particularly with dual enrollment partnerships, new curriculum, new textbooks. Our honors business textbook is due to be replaced. And as you know, in January, we approved our high school program of studies with a new AP course, which will be our 27th AP course in the district that we're very proud of. And having a new AP business with personal finance text is needed. In the center column, you can see that we will continue with elementary collection enhancements. Last year, we began picking 5 schools within the elementary division that needed enhancement for the physical and digital collection of library books. We are in our final phase of our library upgrades in terms of renovation in the physical learning space. If you've been in any of our libraries at the elementary level, they look great. And we just know we have just a little bit more that we need to take care of. Our applied tech programs, grades 6 through 12, continue to have equipment and needs to address from the industrial arts, woodworking, all the way up to pre-engineering and applied tech courses. And as you can see on the right-hand side, this is something that we've done over the last few years is we will rotate new band uniforms. This coming year will be High School East. We also have an art equipment rotation that we began about 9-10 years ago. So we have a middle school and a high school that will be part of that rotation. This year it will be High School East and Reynolds. We also have an instrumental rotation that we have built into the program and into the budget, where High School North and Crockett Middle School will be part of that rotation. Instructional platforms are very important. We've assessed the online platforms that we've used to enhance, not replace, but to enhance instruction, and we know that that is an important part of our budget. And last but not least, we continue to be very proud of our high-quality professional development that we offer anywhere from 10 to 11 months throughout the year for staff during the day, before school, and after. Thank you, Dr. Rocco.
Thank you. Within Student Services, we also have enhancements, unless Ms. Aldino explains some of the enhancements that she is proposing in this budget.
So under MTSS, in conjunction with the school counseling department, we will be working on our elementary behavior system. So in the current year, we are working on SEL. So next year, we will continue working on our behavior systems. Right now, we have kindergarten working on zones of regulation. We are going to be focusing on 1st through 5th grade. At the middle school, we are currently implementing data teams. We will continue with that and start implementing some math going on there. In the middle school, we'll also be focusing, right now we have committees working on looking at curriculum at the resource room. So we'll be focusing on buying that and then, implementing the curriculum. And then our post-secondary life skills transition program is basically doubling next year. So we're really looking to enhance that program for some of our community-based instruction and our job coaching.
Thank you. And so just as a point to remember is in both of these departments, these enhancements are with a flat budget. But we continue to update and we continue to develop programming and enhancements across the district. Within technology, we have a number of enhancements too. So I'm going to show this chart, but I'm also going to ask Mr. O'Boyle in a second to explain the green column, but I want to also put in perspective this technology update. This chart, if you go back years over time, even right about when I started, this Board of Education did an audit of technology in this district. And what was found in the audit was that we were grossly unprepared for technology in the district. Actually, the elementary schools basically had the same router that you would have at your home years ago. And so now we have state-of-the-art systems, we have great resources, but again, the enhancements that are going to be talked about in a second here were done on a flat budget. So Mr. O'Boyle?
Sure. So as you can see in 25-26, I just want to highlight the work that's been completed first on there. So we did upgrade 4 of our firewalls throughout the district. That's 1 in each one of our high schools, as well as 1 at our main Park Avenue location. We have updated each one of our elementary schools. Every classroom has an interactive Promethean panel in them now, so we're at 100% of those classrooms. Moving into 26-27, we're going to be moving on to the middle school there. We are keeping our devices on the same refresh cycle rate, which is a 4-year refresh cycle for student devices and a 5-year cycle for staff. We also wrapped up getting our battery backups installed, as well as over 940 access points throughout the entire district this year. So moving into 26-27, as Dr. Rocco mentioned, there's a lot of maintenance with this, keeping things up to date. Same refresh cycle with the devices, replacing those Promethean panels as needed if any of the secondary level buildings are having issues with them, and getting the middle schools up to 100%. We also have in here the appropriate furniture and equipment that's going to be needed for the new training space, our future classroom space at the municipal complex, and all the network equipment that's going to be needed there as we're moving our main hub from 90 Park Avenue to that new location. We also have just a note on the bottom that every year we allocate a certain amount of money for security cameras and any security enhancements that we may need throughout the year when we find hot spots and dead spots in view.
Thank you. So staffing. In this budget, there is no new staffing. And I think that's an important piece to understand, because if you've come to budget presentations in the past, you would see a recommendation for additional staffing, certified and non-certified staff in the district. But this year, no new staffing. When we talk about maintenance of facilities, we have had a dedicated effort to improving our facilities. We have buildings over 100 years old. One of our oldest buildings is 1909, and the reason why it's still standing is because it was built in 1909, but it needs to be maintained, and there's a lot of work that we need to do. So what is some of that work that we're doing here? If you start in the top left-hand box, you're going to see our ROD grants, or regular operating district grants, continued this summer. So we've been doing a 2-year project on Layler, which we're upgrading their heating ventilation system, and we are adding air conditioning to large spaces there. We will be working on the Steinert Auditorium next to make that a new space in the district. If you look at the leasing purchase down below at $2.75 million, there's a lot of the stuff that Mr. Scotto was just talking about. That's on a rotational basis. Some of the furniture, musical instruments, applied tech, those type of things, and some operational vehicles for our buildings and grounds, our maintenance staff, because they get a lot of use, and after a plow season, we do need to replace a couple of vehicles. On the right-hand side, we have capital reserve projects. So we have the second part of our pool conversions at Steinert and West. We have mechanical upgrades at Grice, Reynolds, and Alexander. We do have $525,000 allotted to the North Pool upgrades, and that is a conversation for later with the board about what is the condition and status of the pool at North moving forward. However, one of the reasons why we closed 2 of the 3 pools was because of the cost to upgrade those pools to be usable, and it was millions of dollars versus converting them to a permanent space in each of the buildings. We have to fix the roofs, or replace the HEP roof and fix the Layla roof this year, and then a deposit into our reserves at $3.5 million. And we are budgeting $3.7 million worth of preventative maintenance all over the district, which includes our tradesmen doing a number of those projects. So that's the facility enhancements and maintenance. Let's get into budget development. So if you look at our revenues and our expenditures for next year, prior to any state aid numbers coming out, we had about a $14.9 million budget gap. Then state aid came out, and it came out later because we have a new governor, and a new governor gets 2 extra weeks for budget development and budget speech and then issuing numbers. But this year, we did get an increase of $8.1 million, or 6% more state aid. That is the guardrail of the most you can get in the state. The least you can get is -3%. The most you can get is 6%. We got 6% at 8.1. We were entitled to $11 million if there was no guardrail. But we are appreciative. $8.1 million, if you go back to the number I said to remember, on health benefit increase was $8.1 million. That increase in state aid pays just for the increase in health cost. You just break this down a little bit. So transportation aid that comes in with state aid here and is included in the 8.1 altogether. We got an increase of $379,000. It does not fund the entire amount of transportation costs. Our transportation costs are $22 million for our district. If you look at funding for special education, we have aid from the state. We have in the state formula $15 million. That does not fund our entire program. We budget $28.5 million for special education. And funding equalization aid, which is the bulk of our state funding, not fully funded. We got $7.8 million. So if you add the equalization aid, the transportation aid, the security aid, all those little pieces together, that equals $8.1 million. But the equalization aid is the bulk of the state aid that we get. And that equals $7.8 million, but not fully funded. So our equalization aid is $118 million. So, closing the gap, $14.9 million, increase in state aid at 8.1. Healthcare adjustment tax levy cap, we have recommended using $4.5 million of $7.2 million available. So let me explain what that means. When the health benefits go up, and based on what the state health benefit goes up, you can have a healthcare adjustment tax levy adjustment. We are recommending taking $4.5 million of the $7.2 million that we are eligible for. We have had conversations about this number and talking about where should we be taking more, should we be taking a little less. If you take less, we have to cut. If we take more, we can do more repairs and more programming and things like that across the district. So then what you see is we still had a little bit of a budget gap. The charter school increased, so you got to add that to the gap. State facility costs increased. We had to add that to the gap. And then we made an adjustment in our one-time capital improvements of $1,825,000. There are 5 attrition positions, and we are looking at enrollments, and we're looking at retirements and resignations, and we're saying what positions do and don't need to be filled, and we've identified 5 positions that do not need to be filled, so we added that into the budget. And then we have a company that is an energy savings company that's been working with us for the last couple of years, and what they do is they look at our bills, they look at our behaviors, they make adjustments to our systems, and they also help us to look at our bills and see if there's errors in the bills, and they've found errors, and we've gotten money back. They would be reducing their rate by $66,000. And when you add all that up, we have a balanced budget. If you wanted just a deeper view of this, you can see the bigger view. When you can see our revenues and our expenditures and a number of the categories that we have. And again, like I said, we'll post this tomorrow for you if you want to look a little deeper into these lines. But again, a balanced budget. And then everybody asks us to break it down this way for our public. The average household in Hamilton Township is average assessed value in Hamilton Township is $218,181. The tax impact per average household per year is $109.31. Tax impact per month is $9.11, and per $100,000 assessed value is $50.10. So stop here for a second. I want to say we've had a lot of discussion about this. I want the public to know that the board has had many, many meetings on this. My senior staff and I have had many meetings on this. Ms. Atwood and I have had many meetings on this. We understand raising taxes is a serious thing. We originally proposed 117. We've looked at this number across the board and going to 109. Where is the appropriate amount? 109 to 117 is the appropriate amount based on where we are and where things are increasing. The healthcare issue is not going away. I cannot tell you that by taking the increase in the healthcare on the tax levy is going to remediate the issue for next year. It'll help a little bit, but if everything is increasing at the same rate, it's still going to be an issue next year, and we need to understand that. And these are the issues that we're facing here in Hamilton, which we've been preparing for year after year and building budgets, looking 2 years down the road. We are not similar to the districts that you read in the newspapers that are having serious financial issues that are being put out on the front page. That's not where we're at. We've been very conservative in how we've budgeted and where we put our items. So if you look at some of the unused tax levy adjustments here, I'm just going to, in a second here, I'm going to let Ms. Atwood just explain this slide because she'll definitely explain it better than I will. But she put the slide together to explain what additional funding is left on the table.
Yes, so correct. So one of the things that we've talked a lot about is the fact that because of our rising health care costs, the state has established a system where any district in the state can automatically increase their tax amount that they're charging above the standard 2% for the amount that your health care is going up to the amount the state is going up. The state, as most people know, maybe don't, be thankful we're not in it, is going up over 30%. We're going up at 19.6, but we have the ability to raise through additional taxes the amount over 2% up to how much our health goes up. And really, honestly, the reason why that's put in place because it's an uncontrollable cost that we are all, every district in the state's facing. We've been able to balance the budget, which the first row shows, with using a portion. We would be eligible, actually, to augment our budget through from a revenue source of raising additional tax levy up to $7.2 million, that first line. Our proposal today is utilizing 4.5 of that. So what we're doing is we're not using 2.6 or about 2.7 million. If we chose to move, which we've talked quite a bit about, utilizing all of our available healthcare tax adjustment, the impact on the average household would go from the 109 number you saw on the previous page, an additional $32 to be $142 per household. And the proposal today is not to go up that much more, but we can. We also, and just know, keeping on that first line, the state law allows you to what they call bank. If you don't go up to cap any year, you get to save that for 3 years. So the next line shows how 2 years ago, because we have not gone up to the full cap ability, how much we could raise in tax levy that's allowed, we have another 2.5 million that we could raise this year in tax levy, and in fact, this is our last year that we can raise that. And that would add an additional $30 onto the household for $172. And if we wanted to use the last line, the final remaining bank cap, which we don't expire, we can use next year if we don't use it, that would be a total of $189 increase on the average household. And we've talked a lot about this because it's important what Dr. Rocco said. This storm we're in may not end next year, and we don't project it to end because of the driving costs that we all see every day, but in healthcare in particular for school districts. Healthcare, 20% again is another $8 million next year. We have our insurance going up. We didn't even talk about utilities. We all are facing it. Everybody here knows that. We budgeted increases in that. And every pencil and paper we buy now costs more, yet we're holding the schools flat to be able to do it all. So we really talked about, for the future of Hamilton in multiple years, is it for the best interest of us to go beyond what we proposed, which, by the way, I do believe is a sound budget, but to try to ensure we could do more capital work with this, we could do a lot more work that we need in this district if we chose to go further and utilize more of our ability to raise taxes above what we're proposing. And that's what I wanted to share with you. We've talked quite a bit of hours and proposed the 109 amount and balanced the budget as showed.
Thank you. Okay, and based on what I showed you here, this is actually what the board votes on tonight. Okay, so that is the balanced budget of the tentative budget. Okay. So just a summary slide. What does this budget provide? No program reductions, no staff reductions, and when I say no staff reductions, I mean in programming. We do have 5 attrition, but we are not cutting classes, we're not building class sizes, we're utilizing tax levy cap adjustment for rising costs. We continue to maintain our staffing at the levels we need, maintaining and actually increasing our district security. We're doing our device replacement. We're still upgrading our district libraries and auditoriums. We are doing some electrical upgrades, and like Ms. Atwood said, what are the other things we would do if we used those adjustments? One of the things is we would accelerate the electrical upgrades in our schools, because one of the reasons why we cannot put air conditioning into our schools is because the electrical systems cannot handle them. So we are slowly but surely upgrading the electrical systems across the district. Continues to fund some programming we have to get some of our classroom assistants into teacher programs and have them teach in our schools. New curriculum for our student services, new curriculum and textbooks across our district, and continues all of our bargaining agreements across the district and providing the family health benefits as part of those programs. And it continues the long-range facility plan that the board approved. Okay, with that, that is the budget presentation. We'll open it to questions from board members or comments. Dina. Yes.
Sorry. You had clarified the 5 attrition in the budget for savings.
Yes.
Do we have a plan B if our demographics our enrollment does rise and, through kindergarten enrollment or any other classes that we will have the ability to add teachers if necessary?
Yes, we do, and we're tracking that. Actually, Dr. Copeland, Mr. Scotto, Ms. Odino, they're tracking the numbers within the departments, and we're looking at our rates right now as kindergarten registration comes in. So we do have flexibility.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, first and foremost, Dr. Rocco, Ms. Atwood, her team, who I know is here this evening. And also a big thank you to the new administration, of course, for the generous maximum increase in state aid. And I must give kudos to our legislator, Senator Greenstein, who sits on the Budget Committee, for her advocacy over the last several years. I appreciate the fact that this budget is what you called, Scott, a maintenance budget, in that we're not growing any programs, we're not making any significant staffing increases, and the like. I do have some reservations about the tax levy. I'm not going to go into details. I do believe that there is a mechanism to not raise taxes as much as is presented here tonight. And I think given the financial reality that all of us are facing, and I emphasize all of us, we see every day now at the grocery store, especially at the gas pump, costs are rising. And as a result of that, I know for myself, for example, I naturally have to work within a budget, and as prices go up, I have to make decisions accordingly. So I do have concerns with respect to that tax levy. You mentioned the rising cost of healthcare. That is an issue that every school district across the state is facing. I was listening today to the Assembly Budget Committee. Today was the first start of the public budget hearings, and a great deal of attention was devoted to that topic, and I'm optimistic that there will be a legislative fix. But at the end of the day, I do believe that that tax levy could be lower and still satisfy your maintenance budget goals.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else from the board? Dr. McSheen?
Thank you. I just wanted to say my appreciation for your clarity in what you presented today. I think it was useful. I think it was clear. And in particular, as personally someone who I think was in support of the healthcare expansion, I guess I'll call it, for staff who was starting or didn't have to wait for a certain amount of time. I think the way it was presented today was helpful in understanding that the things we advocate for or could advocate for do come at a price, and I think it's important for us to understand that price, and especially for us to understand that price today, because the prices will change in the future. And I think when we're considering, everyone here, no one really wants to pay more in taxes. We all have other things to pay for. But increasingly, we need to understand that if we don't pay today, we're going to pay twice, 3 times as much tomorrow. So all that to say is I just really appreciate the way you presented it today, and I think it's applicable to the way we can think about it.
Thank you. Anybody else from the board? Is there anybody from the public who has a question or comment? Ms. Kalanick.
The teachers do pay part of their health insurance, right?
Do, that is correct.
So that will go up a little bit.
Yes, it will.
Hopefully not horrifically, but that'll go up some. That should help to do the cost here.
Correct.
Okay, very good. And just out of curiosity.
So Ms. Atwood can clarify that?
Yes.
That's correct, and but that estimated increase is included in our projections of healthcare costs.
Oh, okay, very good. And just out of curiosity, what was the oldest school?
The oldest school?
Yeah, you said 1909.
That was Cooser.
Really?
Well, that's 1909.
I thought it was maybe Klockner, but I guess maybe Cooser did
So
it.
Cooser's 1909, and they said that the front half of Park Avenue was 1895 or something like that. So
Sue, you should know that.
somebody knows. Someone was saying it. Yeah, usually Dr. Ferrara has the list, but we'll get it for you next meeting.
Okay, next meeting.
Yes, we'll get you the oldest.
Okay.
Yeah, but Kuzer, I know, is
And
1909.
Klockner should be real there too, because my parents went there. My mother went there, to Klockner.
But we'll get
And
that
she was
for
born
you.
in 1919. Okay.
Thank you. Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it.
What do you want to do? I don't know how to turn.
Sorry, I told him to post it until we look at it.
Good job.
So I just wanted to, again, thank you, Dr. Rocco, Ms. Atwood, and her entire department for a very comprehensive budget presentation. I know that we had questions if we had any questions, I just want to make sure, do we have any other additional questions from the board in regards to the budget presentation? Ms. Harvey?
I also want to thank Mrs. Atwood and Dr. Rocco, and I appreciate the time that they've given the board, especially the Finance Committee, and we had a very thoughtful discussion. And in terms of what Mr. Scales raised and in what was in the presentation, I just do have concerns with the budget and the proposal and the impact of what it means to leave part of the cap on the table, that we don't increase even though we can, and just to understand why that cap was put in place. The cap and the increase is because of these healthcare costs that are just exponentially going haywire. I have concerns that while this year we would be, or going into next year, we would be in a strong position, that might not be true down the line. And we don't know what those costs are going to spiral out of control, which is why the cap exists. So, and I've engaged board members in discussions about this. I've engaged the administration in discussions over this and where that point is. But just to put it in perspective, that if we increase it this year, then that actually helps us going into the future, that we then we raise our base. And that when you keep raising your base, in 10 years, what was 100,000 is now 1 million. So I just have concerns that if we don't raise up to the cap, that because of the uncertainty of these healthcare costs, that we're putting ourselves in jeopardy. And maybe next year we'll look at it and say, well, we didn't have to raise as much, so we don't need to raise next year. But we're not in that point. We don't have our crystal ball. And I just have concerns for the district. I don't want us to be in a position where we have to go to referendum because we can't raise it, because we can't meet our budget, like other districts are in the position of, and in chaos. And while this year and going into next year, we'd be in a strong position, I just have concerns for our future. So that's why I'm just raising this as a discussion point as to where on those numbers that we saw we should be, especially that slide that indicated what happens if you have the healthcare adjustment cap. If you increase it, if you increase using the banked cap, which is basically what we could have increased in the past that we're now going to lose if we don't use it, and then the remaining banked cap, which we won't lose it this year, but would in the future. So I raised that as a concern for board members because we don't have a crystal ball, and I just have concerns that I want this district, especially given the age of our buildings compared to districts in the surrounding area who don't have a school from 1909. They are in a different position than we are, and we have a lot of buildings that we have to maintain and a lot of concerns. And every month I go to finance committee meetings where we discuss, well, what's going wrong? The roof is collapsing at such and such school. Like there are concerns that we have to be fiscally responsible, but we also don't want to put ourselves in jeopardy like other districts have done in the area. So that's why I raised that as a concern. Thank you.
Ms. Harvey, I do see Ms. Soto did have her hand raised.
Thank you. Thank you again, Ms. Atwood and Dr. Rocco for the thorough presentation. Just a comment on what you brought up, Ms. Harvey. I initially had the same thought that you did. Going into initial discussions, I thought, we don't know what's going to happen next year. Let's prepare for the worst. But then I heard from some of my colleagues who are really feeling the pinch right now. And I had to sort of check myself and my privilege, knowing that I've got money in the bank, cushion, I can afford this increase, but for some people, they're living check to check. I can remember early in my marriage when my kids were young, it was like, 1 week I had to decide between milk or gas, and there are many families in the community that live like that. And so we had this discussion about, what's a modest increase that will get us to where we need to be, but and it's still an increase, but it's at least a little bit of relief, not so much on people right now because everything else is going up. I don't know that there is an answer, but I think we're just trying to be as thoughtful as we can, to our community. I do know, I was a huge advocate for the health benefits because, when I first started on the board, we really did see there was a teacher shortage and, hiring crisis, and it certainly has paid off in that way. We have, much more retention and great talent in this district, and I'm glad that we were able to serve those families who not only work for our district, but live in the district. So, I do appreciate what you brought up. I don't know that there's an answer, but I know it's not, we could have ended in a deficit. We could have gone a little bit higher. I feel like this is the middle ground. And knowing that we may have to do this again next year. And I want to make sure the public is aware of that also. But if we can provide some relief, at least for now, I would like to do so.
Ms. Stanton?
Yes, thank you. Again, thank you for the presentation. It, I think, gave the community a lot of information in regards to all of this before the board makes their decision. I want to say that I know that we can't keep things as is, that it's not sustainable. Insurance is raising for everyone. I see it on a personal level. We see it here as school board members when it comes to the employees. I do not regret, us working with the HGEA to get in place health insurance for our employees and a higher salary. I am worried about raising taxes right now, though. I know that we, again, had to last year, and I'm the first person to say I want education fully funded as an educator, as a parent, as a community member. I'm just concerned considering where the community is financially. We have more students with free and reduced lunch, students experiencing poverty than we ever have before. And even if some of our residents and some of our families within the district don't own properties, you know, when taxes raise, rent raises. So I am concerned. I'm voting with my conscience, but I feel it's really sad either way, and I hope that the community does understand with whatever decisions that we make that we are spending responsibly and that we're doing this keeping in mind that we need to keep our schools open and stable and running as they are today. Thank you.
Just a few comments. So, Ms. Harvey, I have to agree with you on many of the points that you brought up. First, let me say that we see every day the struggles that our community and our families face, and it's never an easy decision to raise taxes for anything. We're all feeling it. But I have to give credit again to Ms. Atwood and her team. I don't think that everyone realizes what goes into planning out a budget. And when Dr. Rocco made the statement of we look 2 years ahead, we truly do look 2 years ahead, which is why I feel that we are not in a more dire position right now, because her team has anticipated for the bad days. That's why I look to the future, and are we doing justice by not looking a year ahead or 2 years ahead, where we might be in a situation next year where we're not only raising taxes to balance our budget, but we also have to make program cuts and staffing cuts, which is the last thing that we want to do. You know, we're at a point where we're able to be fully staffed, and we have wonderful programs that we continue bringing in, and that goes to the education of our children. I don't know if I'm comfortable going to the full extent, but I do feel that, you know, perhaps we could go a little bit more with the health care waiver, not drastically more, but a little bit more, to give us a little extra cushion for, as Dr. Rocco said, the stormy weather coming in the next couple years. It's just my opinion. I will go with the majority of the board, but again, I just feel that we really need to take a good hard look and see not only the decisions you make today, but how that's going to impact the next couple years. Any other questions or comments? Ms. Atwood?
I know. I feel obliged to make a comment on this budget. You know, I'm retiring this June, and I've dedicated so many years here. And when you're talking about building for the future, we have. That's how, when we were planning for this budget, anticipating even a 3% reduction in state aid, we still didn't have to cut staff at that time. But to do that this year, if that had come, we took every piece of our cushion, and that doesn't mean waste. What I mean is I had $6 million coming out of facilities. We were pulling monies out of our reserves to offset cost. We were anticipating more surplus to help balance, which you don't ever want to do. We could do it, but it was 1 year. So I just want you to be cautioned that we're not doing that. We were able to get $8 million of state aid. We were able to put those capital budgets work back into the budget. We have that back in, a lot of it. We're still cutting $1 million, but not $6 million.
We aren't using reserves. You saw on the one slide that Dr. Rocco had, that was pre-state aid. We've been able to build those back in. And the reason the impact, which I think we all agree at 109 is reasonable and lower than what we proposed in the current year, though I want everybody to understand it's because we've also had this one-time opportunity this year, because we didn't build that pre-K building, that our debt levy has dropped over 65%. And when you calculate the impact on your average homeowner, that made it to be 109. That's this year. That's how we are able to go up to as much as we are in the healthcare, which is significant millions. Reason why I'm saying that is next year, because I truly believe this, unless healthcare gets controlled, this district and every district will have to take that adjustment and in full, year after year. And it's going to be big, but next year we won't have that offsetted debt. So that impact will be bigger. So I wanted you to, one, to know we had an opportunity this year, and I want to thank the board for going as much as we are, because I know it's been talked about not. But to realize that I believe wholeheartedly of next year we're good. But if next year is 20% and 20% and 20%, it is, I'm fearful of the future of education. I think I've told you all of that, and be able to fund it. And I can't sit here and not say that I can't, every one of you has asked me, should we go higher? And I just want to tell you, it's so hard for me to say this, but I do believe you should. And I believe you should go to the full. And I'm sorry, Dr. Rocco, I don't like to say, disagree, to contradict, but I do believe that it's the best interest of the district, at least to go use more of it, because I do believe in the future you're going to have to use it every year. That does not mean I don't think we have a sound budget. I think we do. I just don't know how many years you can hold on to it if we don't get that state aid. And that's all I wanted to put on the record, that I feel comfortable a year. I just don't know how many.
That would I thank you very much for expressing your thoughts and letting us know. We all have a tremendous amount of respect and admiration for you, and you've done an amazing job here in Hamilton. I can't believe we're saying this is your last budget, but again, I can't thank you enough, but I believe Ms. Williams had a comment.
Yes, thank you. I want to first say thank you, Dr. Rocco, and thank you, Ms. Atwood, for the work that you put into this budget and balancing it. I know that it's not an easy task, and Ms. Atwood, I want to say thank you very much for speaking and being very transparent and open with everything that you just said. And I want the public to know that when it comes to these matters, I don't think any one of us sitting up here on the board take lightly the fact that we have to try to help make these decisions. We, too, are part of the public and taxpayers here, and we do not also, I mean, we're all absolutely feeling the pinch at home, right? But at the same time, when you think about the budget and for our public schools and the children that we serve and the teachers, we have to make sure that we're not cutting things or we're not taking away. And, you know, I think that it is a very responsibly, like the way we were all thinking of it, a lot of responsible thinking goes into it. And we just don't take it lightly. So whichever way, like when things like this happen, we're feeling it too. And I just want everybody to know that it's not an easy decision to make, but as long as things keep rising and as long as we have to figure out how to make it work, there's really nowhere else to pull it from. Everything is increasing every year. I mean, it's just ridiculous how much things are increasing. And it's ridiculous the impact that it has on all of us. But I really do appreciate the fact that we got to, I think, a number that was, I want to say, doable. I don't even know if I want to use the word doable, because I know for a lot of people, to Ms. Soto's point, it's going to feel the pinch, right? So I don't even know that I want to use that word, but it was, I guess, the one that made the most sense for us. And I understand Ms. Atwood in saying that, take the whole thing and then, because maybe year after year. And I just sit here today saying that hopefully it doesn't continue this way year after year. But I guess that's all going to be determined on other things that are beyond all of our control. So we're just going to have to, make conscious efforts to do the best that we can. And I truly believe that everybody here is doing that. And I think that was proven in the slides that were shared, the presentation that was shared, and Ms. Atwood speaking also. So that's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Okay. So at this time, we'll move on to committee reports. And I am going to start. I don't remember who we started with last meeting, but I wanted to change it up a little bit. Could start with Mr. Kanka for finance and operation. That's what I think we'll do.
The Finance and Operation Committee met on past Monday. It's a little late in the game because we were stuck behind the delay from the state on receiving the numbers that we were to get on state aid. That being said, we had a very, very long discussion. I've been on this committee for quite a few years, and I've sat through many, many budgets with Mrs. Atwood, and I can say that it would be like a 6 or 7 or 8 or 9% increase, or I think last year or the year before it was it was 12%, and then we sort of got a reduction down into the single digits. But when she came up in the committee and prior to the committee, and we were talking, we had many, many conversations about the drivers in this budget, and when she said it was 20+% for health care, I'm like, holy mackerel. How do we sustain that? We're spending $42 million for health care, and anybody does the math on that, and the 20%, you're looking at $8 million increase. How do we find the money for that? But we hoped that there would be a reduction. This was conversations that we had, committee-wise too. We hoped there'd be a reduction, and there was. It was a big reduction from 20% down to 19.6. So, with that being said, they had a lot of work they had to do just to try to keep the impact to the district as soft as possible, and it was, everybody tightened their belts in the district, and they did a great job in allowing Mrs. Atwood and her staff to put together a budget, which we all discussed many, many times. I had many, many conversations between last Thursday when the numbers came out, and actually up to today. We were still talking about the tax levy and stuff like that, and the committee itself, between Mrs. Thornton and Mrs. Harvey, we were going back and forth with each other, and we had meetings with Mrs. Atwood and even Dr. Rocco, trying to figure this whole mess out. And we got through it, but like like she says, this is not sustainable. And we come up with this, she came in with a couple numbers that we thought were palatable. And, we tried to, I came up with the idea, let's split the difference here and try to make it less of an impact on the township without affecting, the teaching staff and our support staff and the students themselves, to make sure that they receive a quality education that, us as taxpayers are looking for in Hamilton Township. I've been a resident of this township my whole life, and I went through the 90s district, where taxes were kept at a flat, and what suffered was building conditions suffered. When I got onto this board and was part of the facilities committee and finance, we had 24 buildings, we needed 24 roofs. And how does this happen overnight? It doesn't happen overnight. It happens when you take money out of maintenance and preventive maintenance to fill the gaps in other portions of the budget. So with Dr. Rocco and Mrs. Atwood's, I was hell-bent on making sure that we didn't let our buildings go, and we made sure we had the best staff here working on these buildings, and we try to put as much money into the buildings through our staff versus going out for bid. As we all know, when you go out to bid, it's a lot more money to maintain, to get these buildings together. But we have a great staff in facilities. Our trades guys do a great job, and to save money wherever we can, because if we didn't have that, it may be much worse. A lot of this work may have to go outside and get done. So I appreciate the guys that do all the work. I appreciate the staff here that worked on this particular budget that we discussed in the committee for, I think it was about 2 hours we were on it, trying to figure ways to try to get through this year. And the other thing that was brought up was the remaining money that the state says that we're under adequacy of in the neighborhood of $53 million. I believe last year it was about $55 million. We lowered it a little bit this year. But, we, over the years that we've been developing these budgets, we raised it nickels and dimes. Well, now, unfortunately, with the impact through healthcare, it's got to have to be a little bit more. And if we don't do this, then there's going to be some other drastic moves that are going to have to take place, and none of us want to see that, especially me. So we had that conversation with the budget. Dr. Rocco presented his portion. Mrs. Atwood presented her discussions on this whole thing, and we came to a tentative decision that was eventually passed on to the board. So that conversation was, even though we still had the meeting, we still were back and forth, phone call after phone call. I must have called Mrs. Atwood today 5 or 6 times. I talked to Mrs. Thornton 4 or 5 times today. So it's not like it was coming in saying, they threw out a number and we were going to jump at the number. No, we were working the whole time trying to get this to an agreeable decision for the whole board. So And so after that, we moved on to our base. After that discussion took place in the meeting, we moved on to our facilities updates, and Rocky, Mr. Infante, provided us with some a couple items that we had going on at Greenwood School, some heating issues that had been I had reported on last meeting that have been taken care of. A new issue has popped up in Reynolds. There's a domestic water line that's in need of some repair work. It's either a joint or the pipe is in need of repair. It's starting to sweat a little bit, so it's not where it's pouring into the building. It's just there's a drip every now and then, but that's going to be taken care of. It'll be monitored as the time goes on, but it will be taken care of during the summer shutdown, and it'll be addressed at that time. And then we discussed the committee reviewed some the bid schedule for the summer of '26, and we spoke briefly about the East Auditorium, which the bid opening was on the 13th, and that's on tonight's agenda for approval. It came in slightly under budget, and there was a couple of items on there, piping, some abatement issues with some asbestos on some of the joints on the piping. That's planned to be taken care of over the spring break, in I believe it's in a couple of weeks. So that won't impact the beginning of the project in the end of June. We spoke about the Alexander HVAC, the Grice Reynolds HVAC in the music room. The HVAC Alexander is on for the summer project. The bid opening was also on the 13th, and it's on for approval. Then we stepped into the phase 2, the west and the east pool conversions, and it's been a hot topic for a couple years. The estimates came in not on the project for the shutdown, but when we had originally looked at this, the estimates came in $3 and $4 million just to repair the pools that we had, and that didn't even include. That was just, I think it was really just a guesstimate on the west pool, because there was leakage underground under the pool, and God only knows, how bad it was. You can't see through concrete, so it was plus the operational costs. On top of that, it was just cheaper to turn that into educational space, since we had a major reduction in participation with the pools, and like I've said before, everybody seems to be allergic to chlorine in this township, and in the high schools. So that's why the decision was made to shut down, and we just have the north pool right now. That's the swim team is using, but there is some work to be done there. The swim season's over. We're looking at hopefully upgrading some things at north, and I'm happy to see that, only because over the years, over the past 20 or 25 years in this district, we have taken a lot of programs, classrooms, and part of the curriculum away from these kids that are technically non-academic, like metal shop, auto shop, stuff like that. and you know, I was always a one, you know, not everybody's going to be a lawyer or a doctor or a scientist. You know, there are kids that are going to go into the blue collar field and do things such as, you know, be a plumber, be an electrician. So if it was up to me, I would bring a lot of these programs back into the schools, and but it's just not applicable at this time. So to take away, you know, take away the swimming portion of this district is just another way of taking something away from a kid that's there to, you know, not only learn but to also enjoy coming to school. So we're going to discuss the upgrades to the North Pool in the next couple months, hopefully before Mrs. Atwood leaves. And then the one other item is the HEP roof and the Layla roof that we had spoke about briefly in previous meetings. We all know about the HEP roof with the soffit around the building where we had some infiltration of some birds. That's all been taken care of, but the roof still needs to be replaced, which is on this list for summer projects. And we were supposed to have a food service discussion on the debt, but we just didn't have enough time, so we moved that to next month. But I do want to bring something to the attention to the public. I did look at the food service debt again this month versus last month, and it was an increase of $38,000 on the debt that's owed to the district. We were at 353 last month, and we're at 390. We're at 355 now. We're at 393 in 1 month. So, if you and that's also non-sustainable. I mean, because we have to pay that money at the end. So we don't want to be taking money out of a budget that's so tight right now. So we're going to come up with some type of a plan to try to secure those funds back to the district for lost money for lunches and stuff like that, and we're hoping that we can be successful in that. And that's really what our meeting covered. Our next meeting is scheduled for April the 22nd at 8:30 a.m. And if anybody has any questions, I will be happy to take them.
Thank you, Mr. Kenka. Do I have any questions on Mr.
Please don't
Kenka's
ask me
committee
nothing.
report? Dr. Ferrara?
No.
Ms. Harvey? Ms. Stanton?
No questions.
Mr. Scales?
No questions. Thank you.
Soto?
Thank you.
Dr. McSheen?
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you. I might have gotten hit.
So now I will move on to Personnel Committee. Ms. Soto?
Good evening, everyone. So the Personnel Committee met on Wednesday, March 11th at 4:15. I, along with Mrs. Williams, Dr. McSheen, Dr. Rocco, and his leadership team were in attendance. The committee has reviewed and reviewed proposed revisions to a number of job descriptions for board consideration this evening. Revision to custodian, revision to head 1 custodian, head 2 custodian, part-time custodian, field maintenance operations grounds, warehouse technician operations grounds, and a new adoption of utility custodian.
Can you speak closer to the mic, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
So I won't repeat them because they are in the agenda under number 13 if you'd like to take a look. But, you know, as always, the revisions really reflect the updates to responsibilities and ensure alignment with our current district needs and operational practices. So again, they're on the agenda for approval tonight, number 13. I do want to point out we also have item number 2 on the agenda, a number of new appointments, but I wanted to highlight 2. Tonight we will be voting on the appointment of our new BA, which, and he's in the audience this evening. And, you know, as much as we hate to see Miss Atwood go, you know, she has discussed his skill set with us thoroughly, and I look forward to voting this evening. We also have another administrator on the agenda, and that's our coordinator of communications and development. And I just wanted to highlight that this individual is actually a Hamilton West graduate. So I know we talk about our students going through the district and coming back as teachers, but it's nice to see them coming back in administrative roles as well.
I think he's a Steiner
Is he a Steiner graduate? My apologies. Excited to see that on the agenda as well. So that's item number 2. Our HR department met with 20 TCNJ students at KISS Start to discuss professionalism and expectations of being an HTSD teacher. All 20 of those students have applied to become substitute teachers in our district, which is very exciting. So we currently have 338 district substitutes, and those span, a variety of positions, majority, of course, in the teacher section, but we have ed assistants, secretaries, school counselors, custodians, nurses, an athletic trainer, and aspiring principals. And so this brought us to our discussion. We talked a lot tonight about, the increase in benefit costs and things like that. And I appreciate Dr. Copeland so much because he's very thoughtful with the data that he presents to the committee. And he shared with us a graph. Well, let me pull this up. With a lot of discussion. It came from the Penn State Center of Education Evaluation and Policy Analysis. And so we looked at this chart of individuals entering the profession, education. And in, God, it's so small, 2010, we had, about 630,000 nationally entering the profession. A decade later, 2020 is cut by 50%. So 330,000 students going into education. As I had mentioned earlier, we thought about making this investment in our staff, in our district. And while we know it comes at a cost, I think had we not done that, it would have been a much higher cost. We now see most of our positions filled, as well as we're desired. People are actually lining up to apply and to become a part of our community. So while it does come at a price, we know that we're able to secure really good talent and retain them. And so I am thankful that we did make that investment when we did, and I'm just thrilled to see the progress that we've been able to make over the last few years. So thank you, Dr. Copeland and your team. And that is all I have, so I'm now going to turn it over to Dr. McSheen for the DCR report.
Thank you very much. The District Community Relations Committee met actually yesterday. Unfortunately, I was unable to make it. I have a report from the chair, Cassandra Hodges-Jones, and I will read from that. So, first item, DCR hosted a table at the 4th Annual HTSD Community Fair on March 10th. It was another successful event, and we were able to speak with many families. Thanks to donations of the DCR team, we were able to purchase SEL giveaway items for families as well. Thank you to everyone who joined us for our presentation on the district's climate and culture, HIBs, and suspension data at the meeting yesterday. Special thank you to Dr. Disler for gathering all of the data and presenting it to our committee. The discussion that was held afterwards was very positive, and everyone is looking forward to continued work. Dr. Disler's report to DCR is posted on the DCR meeting information page. The 3rd Annual One Hamilton College and Career Fair will be held on Tuesday, April 14th at Crockett Middle School. Flyers are available in the high schools on multiple social media platforms, the district website, and through the district's school counseling department. We currently have 73 colleges and universities registered to represent on the college side, and 25 trades, companies, military, and different organizations that represent the career side. The career side not only has information and applications for post-secondary options, but there are many camps, preschools, restaurants, companies, theme parks, and more looking for seasonal employment. Registration is open for students to register and attend. Students will also be able to register at the fair, but early registration is strongly encouraged. Refreshments will also be provided. The next DCR meeting is on Tuesday, April 21st from 5 to 6 p.m. It will be a virtual meeting, so there will be a Zoom link available. As always, feel free to reach out to us at dcr@htsdnj.org if you have questions, concerns, feedback, or interested in joining. You can also find us on the district website. Let's work together as we partner in building minds, building futures for our HTSD community. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. McSheen. Thank you, Ms. Soto. So does anyone have any questions on the Personnel Committee report as well as the DCR report? I'll start. Dr. McSheen, any questions?
Just need to echo what we've heard probably 2 or 3 times tonight about how all the previous work from the last few years have gone into so many improvements, but what has been recognizable to me has been the reduction in vacancies at the staffing level of all the buildings. We used to have to talk about, a dozen or so. Now it's 2 or 3, roughly. And so that's really impactful. We talk about it in numbers like that, but more importantly, that's students who have a stable, certified person who they can go to and get educated from. And I think that's really speaking to the increasing quality of the education overall. So not everything can be tied to a number, not everything can be tied to test scores or any kind of metric, but I think that's something that we can look forward to, is that the quality of experience is really increasing. Thank you.
Dr. McSheen. Ms. Soto?
Questions?
Mr. Scales?
No, thank you.
Stanton?
No questions, thank you.
Harvey?
Thank you.
Dr. Farrar?
I just want to thank the teachers who step up to take a student teacher. Dr. Rocco, I was a student teacher a long time ago. Do they get paid or do they get credits for doing this? They used to, that's why I asked.
Some schools will provide a very small monetary compensation for them, but most of the time they do it because they're good role models and they know that they are shaping a new teacher.
Well, and not only that, people think it's a vacation for the teacher, right, to have a student
Hard
teacher
work.
in the classroom, and it's not. They give you feedback, they work with you, they have to teach while they're watching you do whatever you have to do. I had one really good master teacher, and I had one really scary one, but just thank you. Thank you to the staff for doing that and bringing new teachers along.
Mr. Scott, I wanted to add on the student teacher.
Yes, I just wanted to also mention that all of our student teachers participate in our professional development. All of our student teachers have the opportunity to attend summer orientation, and all of our staff are also able to participate in all of our voluntary PD. So it really has become a possible pipeline, and also sort of thinking about the future of our educators, and we are very proud of that as well.
That's great. That's great to hear.
Thank you, Dr. Farrar. Mr. Kanka? And now we will move on to curriculum and instruction. Ms. Stanton?
Yes, thank you. Good evening, everyone, again. Curriculum and Instruction Committee met on March the 11th at 6:30 p.m. Dr. Ferrara, myself, Dr. Rocco, and his leadership staff were all in attendance. We went over a few different things, but for the most part, our meeting was pretty light, and we mostly just had focused on the budget and discussing that moving forward. We did discuss our March in-service day, which would be Friday the 20th coming up. Obviously, our students will be out of school. We will have our district in-service day, and most of the staff, the first half of their day has kind of been scheduled by their supervisor. The second half of the day, the staff will be able to choose their sessions. There's a huge menu of offerings based on, areas of interest or expertise, different age groups. So that will be a very robust day for our staff members. We went on to then discuss some writing simulations. The state testing is changing again, known as the NJSLA Adaptive and the NJGPA Adaptive. There will be a lengthy writing portion that will be added to these tests for students grades 3 through 9 and 11. They'll be engaging in a writing simulation in the classroom to prepare them for this. The simulations were developed by the Curriculum and Instruction Department. And during the simulation, the students will be able to practice responding to prompts in a similar way to the tests. This will not be teaching to the test, but an opportunity to prepare our students for doing longer writing within a timed capacity. The simulation will give the students an opportunity to brainstorm and plan, draft and revise, as well as work on their time management for the test. The BOE was given a few samples of prompts for that. Another item we discussed, which is up for vote this evening, were the elimination of 2 policies, which we had discussed prior. This will be the second readings for policy 3362 and 4352. We'll be abolishing those, and those will be item 4 under curriculum and instruction. And then for item 5, we will be introducing policy 1152, which covers the same information as the prior 2 policies that are being abolished. It's just that this is now one policy that will cover all staff members versus the 2 prior that covered teachers versus other staff members. We also discussed policy 2535, library materials, just to get some opinions and communication in regards to what this policy might look like moving forward. I wanted to also cover a few things that we'll be voting on this evening that were not under discussion for C&I. We have a few different field trips that we're voting on this evening. We have 3 potential daytime field trips for item 2, and item 3, we have 1 potential overnight field trip. Again, 4 and 5 were our policies. Number 6, some professional training events. We have decommission of some library books for number 7. Numbers 9 and 10 are going to be, 9, 10, and 11 now, are all purchased educational services that are being paid for with Title I funds. So we have one for Crockett, and that is going to be for small group instruction, coaching, math, and ELA on site. We have one for Cooser. Crockett was number 9. Cooser is number 10. For Cooser, it is going to be for working with the Hamilton Area YMCA Recess program. And number 11 will be for Greenwood, and that is for an educational program that works on movement and mental health services. I also wanted to thank our community for a donation that we had. We have here, let me pull it up again, that one was, yes, we had one donation, and that is from, yes, that's from Haldeman Subaru. They have donated to the Yardville Heights Elementary School under a program called Adopt a Classroom. So they adopted 10 classrooms, which will each receive $500 to purchase instructional materials with a total value of $5,000. So thank you again to Haldeman Subaru. And that's everything.
So does anyone have any questions on the curriculum and instruction committee report, Mr. Kenka?
Not on that, but I would like to make a comment after everybody's done. It's not, it has nothing to do.
Okay.
CNI.
Dr. Farrar?
No questions.
Ms. Harvey? Stanton?
I don't have any questions, but I also wanted to mention and thank Mr. Scotto, Anthony Scotto, again for his time and dedication with curriculum and instruction. This past CNI committee for this month of March was the last that he'll be attending. So again, I just wanted to acknowledge him and all of the work that he's done with us.
I'll send you the link, Mr. Scotto, don't worry, for April. You can join us again.
No, thank you.
Soto?
No, thank you.
Dr. McSheen?
No, thank you.
I'm going to come back to you, Mr. Kenka. You had a comment.
I apologize. I apologize. I missed one item on my report.
For finance
We were,
and operation?
yeah, we were so
Okay.
consumed with the budget this month that it actually slipped my mind. But I have to give accolades to Mr. O'Boyle. The door sensor project is complete. This has been a long process. We had literally over 100 and, I don't know, it was 150 doors or so that had no type of alarms on it, and they could be opened by anybody at any time. That is now complete. The only thing that's still outstanding is his staff, they're meeting with the timing to set the timing up for how long the door stays open in some particular, in these particular areas where, you know, some doors may be open where children are moving out and they may have to go be open a little bit longer. But I'm just happy to say that every single door in the Hamilton Township school system does have an alarm contact on it. So when they're open, we will know it's open. So that was it.
Thank you, Mr. Kenka, for adding that additional piece
Thank you.
to your committee
And there's
report.
nothing on negotiations.
Okay, okay. So seeing that we have no other questions for committee reports, do I have any questions in regards to monthly suspension report? Ms. Stanton?
I don't have any questions, but I did want to acknowledge and congratulate the fact that nearly all of our elementary schools had 0 suspensions this past month. And that's, yeah, that really is great to see for our students and for the administration in those buildings. So congratulations.
Thank you, Ms. Stanton, for bringing that up and pointing that out. I think that's a very important factor for our schools, so thank you. Any other questions? Anything on the monthly HIB report?
Just again, thank you to Dr. Disler for presenting to DCR. It's something that has been a topic in DCR for years, just trying to understand better, and however we can disseminate that information is really helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. McSheen. Any questions on the monthly health report? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to move on to hearing of the public on agenda items. Now, I do not have anyone signed up for the first hearing of the public. Just want to make sure. So at this time, I'll close that, and we will move on to our agenda items. So, Ms. Stanton, can you take us through curriculum and instruction items?
Sure. At the recommendation of the superintendent, I move items 1 through 12.
Second.
Okay, so I'm going to open that up for discussion. Mr. Kanka, any questions?
No.
Dr. Ferrara?
No.
Ms. Harvey?
No, thank you.
Ms. Stanton?
No.
Mr. Scales?
No, thank you.
Ms. Soto?
No, thank you.
Dr. McSheen?
No, thank you.
Okay, Ms. Atwood? Roll call?
Mr. Kanka?
Yes.
Dr. McSheen?
Yes.
Mr. Scales?
Yes.
Soto?
Yes.
Ms. Stanton?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Williams is, had to leave early.
Dr. Farrar?
Yes.
Ms. Harvey?
Yes.
Thornton?
Yes.
Motion's passed.
Mr. Kanka, can you take us through finance and operation?
Yes. Upon recommendation of the superintendent, I move finance and operation motions 1 through 14.
Second.
I'll open that up for any discussion or questions. Dr. McSheen, any questions on finance and operation?
No. Thank you.
Ms. Soto?
No, thank you.
Mr. Scales?
No, thank you.
Stanton?
No, thank you.
Ms. Harvey?
No, thank you.
Dr. Ferrara?
No.
Mr. Kanka?
No.
Ms. Atwood, can you take us through roll call?
Mr. Kanka?
Yes.
Dr. McSheen?
Yes.
Mr. Scales?
Yes on everything with the exception of 12, and I do have some abstentions, excuse me, on number 9. So page 63, lines 6 through 11, and page 64, lines 1 through 5.
And you also abstain on number 12?
No, I voted no.
Vote no. Soto?
Yes.
Stanton?
Yes.
Dr. Ferrara?
Yes on everything except 12 is no.
Ms. Harvey?
Yes.
Thornton?
Yes.
Motion's passed.
Ms. Soto, can you take us through personnel agenda items?
Upon recommendation of the superintendent, I move personnel items 1 through 14.
Second.
Okay, any questions or comments in regards to personnel items? Mr. Kanka?
No.
Dr. Ferrara?
No.
Ms. Harvey? Ms. Stanton?
No, thank you.
Mr. Scales?
No, thank you.
Ms. Soto?
No, thank you.
Dr. McSheen?
No, thank you.
I would like to recognize some of our retirements this evening. Just want to make sure. So first, educational assistant at Hamilton High School West, 15 and a half years in Hamilton, Merrill Colbeck. Utility custodian throughout the district, 33 years service to Hamilton, Robert Manners. Teacher of English Language Arts at Reynolds Middle School, 28 years service to Hamilton, Teresa McFadden. A bus driver, 12 years service to Hamilton, June Mahoxie. And an educational assistant at Hamilton High School East, 1 year service to Hamilton, Christina Pierre. We'd like to congratulate you on your retirement, and we wish you all the best, and thank you for your dedication to Hamilton. So, Ms. Atwood, can you take us through roll call?
Mr. Kanka?
Yes.
Dr. McSheen?
I abstain on motion 2E1. I abstain on motion 5, line 5, and motion 6, Y1, and yes to the rest.
Mr. Scales?
Yes.
Ms. Soto?
Yes.
Stanton?
I'm abstaining on motion 2D, line 1, and yes to the rest.
Dr. Farrar?
Yes on 2D1 is no.
Ms. Harvey?
Yes to all except I abstain on number 6, line B as in boy, number 4.
Thornton?
I will abstain on 2A1. Sorry, 6V1. And abstain on 2D2. Yes to the rest.
Motion's passed.
Yes, please.
So I'd like to have some congratulations here. So in that personnel package tonight, we have appointed our new business administrator. Nick Macris is here tonight, and we'd like to congratulate you and welcome you to the Board of Education. I don't know if you'd like to just come up and say hello to the board.
Thank Thank you, everyone. Good evening. I greatly appreciate the approval for tonight, coming forward here as well. Typically, you want to come places and you look at things and you're like, I could do better, and you're looking around, but Ms. Katie Atwood is so well beloved, and she's just not a peer. I look up to her. We're in the county together, former state president of our association. You will be missed. I hope you stick around and come around once in a while to the convention, so thank you. And then Mr. Scotto, thank you for retiring as well and your future endeavors. I look forward to working with you, Dr. Rocco, with the board, with fellow directors and administration, and supporting the staff and the teachers, and to improve on our students. And I'm looking forward to coming here on July 1st. Thank you.
Welcome aboard. Within the personnel items also, I'd like to congratulate and welcome Dr. Danielle Tan, who will be our Acting Director of Curriculum and Instruction through June 30th. So Dr. Tan, if you'd like to just come up and say hello to everybody.
Good evening. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Danielle Tan. I just want to say that this is a pleasure. I thank you for giving me this opportunity over the next few months. And most importantly, I just want to say that I've been here for 22 years. I started out as almost a kid at 22 years old, and I appreciate you letting me grow in my career here at Hamilton Township School District. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Tan.
Ms. Thornton, I just have one question. Did anybody warn the new business administrator that he has to work with Mr. Kanka?
No, we weren't going to bring that up tonight. That might have changed the trajectory of tonight. He's a new guy, you can tell.
Let me tell you something. I was really a softie, but working with Mrs. Atwood for the past 12 years, she's really got this committee well planted. So you're gonna have some tough times and you're gonna have some good times, but we have a really good committee, and we all work together. And as everybody knows within this committee, you know, I'm pretty fun on the committee meetings. And
everyone says.
And Katie will tell you that. So I just hope that we can work together, and we can see eye to eye on, you know, half the things, and we'll see how it works out.
Don't give him your cell phone number.
Don't give me your cell phone number.
He actually might take over reading your committee report.
All I know is you got a tough job ahead of you, because Katie makes out the best reports on the planet. So I don't do that. I got to give her that credit. So I'm looking forward to we're looking forward to the opportunity. So, and don't say I didn't warn you.
There, you have been warned. So I'm going to move on to hearing of the public on school-related matters. I do have two individuals signed up at the moment, and I will start with Mike Ziegler. If you can please come up to the microphone. You do have 4 minutes allotted. Just please state your name for the record.
Good evening. My name is Mike Ziegler, and I'm here with my wife, Kelly Mera. We are both alumni of the school district, and our daughter, Kaylee Ziegler, currently attends Langtree Elementary School. I'm here today because a very serious issue involving our daughter and the district's policy and procedure during a medical emergency. Recently, my daughter, who is nonverbal special needs, experienced a seizure at school, her first, and was transported by ambulance to the hospital. We greatly appreciate the classroom staff and the school nurse and commend them for responding quickly to the medical emergency itself. However, we were extremely upset to learn that our daughter was transported in the ambulance alone. While we are aware the guidance counselor followed behind the ambulance and greatly appreciate that, Kaylee was alone for the entirety of the ambulance trip, as she was transported into her room and as she was made comfortable in her ER room. The counselor had trouble finding parking at the crowded hospital and only got into the room mere minutes before we did. As we made a mad dash towards the hospital to be by our daughter's side, we received a phone call from the paramedics asking us to speak to her on the speakerphone because she was distraught and they had no way to calm or communicate with her. For any child, this would be extremely frightening, but for a nonverbal child with special needs, with previous hospitalizations, it is traumatic. She was placed in a situation where she could not communicate. They did not transport her with her communication device, could not advocate for herself, and was surrounded by strangers during a medical crisis. Imagine walking into an ER room knowing your child just had a medical emergency to find your daughter in the arms of a nurse because she looked around, knew no one, and picked a nurse to pick her up and try and soothe her. No child, especially a vulnerable child, should have to go through that alone. My concern is not just about what happened to my daughter. My concern is about district policy moving forward. Families of special needs students trust the district to protect their children not only academically, but also their safety, and we cannot say that we trust this district right now. Mrs. Gallo, the principal of Langtree, stands by the procedure that happened that day, and we have been denied our request to add into our daughter's IEP that someone accompany her in the ambulance during a medical emergency moving forward because of this district's outdated and broad policy. There is a difference between policy and procedure and best practices. Best practice for a special needs student was simply not followed that day thanks to the policy. I'm asking this board to review and fix the district's policy regarding students being transported by ambulance, particularly for students with disabilities. Specifically, there should be a procedure that ensures a familiar staff member accompanies a child in situations where a parent cannot arrive immediately, especially when the student cannot communicate for themselves. Thank you.
Mr. Ziegler, if you could just please leave your name and contact information with Ms. Atwood so that we can have someone get in touch with you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And next, I have Janice Glonick.
I see you have no regard for the elementary teachers and aren't giving them a half a day to do the report cards on this Friday's workshop. It takes way over 6.5 hours to do them on the teacher's own time. Plus, they have lesson plan papers to mark and just got hit with the supply order as well. And you couldn't have some compassion for them? They need to come and spend, you need to come and spend a few days to fully comprehend all the needs that are done, that need to be done in elementary, especially since especially the lower L. The lower L has so many more needs than the upper L, and you have no comprehension of how bad it is. I marked a reading test today for second grade. It took me an hour, but there was still more to do because the teacher had to mark special marks and everything, and that happens every 2 weeks. I mean, that's over an hour's worth just for one test. I guess the teachers the elementary teachers who have children at home this weekend will have to tell them they're going to have peanut butter and jelly sandwiches all week because they're not going to have time to cook because they had to spend one whole day doing report cards and then the other day doing their lesson plans and marking papers and so forth. That is terrible. Then to add more stress and time-consuming problems, a notice came that you were replacing all copiers in all the schools. We had 3 copiers. 1 in the office and 2 in the teacher's room. The one in the teacher's room was black and white and also did color. Replacing all means we have 3, we get 3. Tit for tat. No, we only got 2. And 1 for the office that was in color and 1 black and white for the teacher's room. Replacing also means same or better quality. We got a used copier in the teacher's room. You have to push the number of copies for every new master you want. Our other copier, if you're making 10 copies of something, you push 25, you got 10 of everything. This one, if I'm making 10 copies, I push 25 10 times to make each single copy. Plus, the teachers are now waiting to use the copier. Office staff in the system, the office staffs in the system may not be happy with teachers going and using their machines in the office. You have no idea how much copying needs to be done. Centers, seat work, homework, testing, projects that need to be done in color. Plus, there's, and like in Alexander, no place to lay your copies. There's not that much room. In the teacher's room, you have the table, the lunchroom table where you can spread things out. But in the office, there's no such thing, especially if you're copying for 2 classes. They used to have their own printers to do color copies in their classroom. They bought the color ink out of their class allowance, and if they ran out of ink, then they bought more ink out of their own pocket, which saved the district money. You have no idea how much money the teachers put out of their pocket to cover things. Plus, it saves teachers time so they don't have to go all the way down to the teacher's room and find out someone's on the one copier we have. Saw a teacher walk out on Monday. She stood there for 5 minutes and left. We need 2 copiers at Alexander's teacher's room. We had purchased 2, so we should get 2 to replace. Black and white and color. The office got their 1, we should get our 2. Plus, give each grade level back a printer. And they're not asking for every teacher, just 1 grade level if they want it, to do 2 things in the room, especially if we're stuck with 1 copier, which we better not be. If that happens, it proves that you have no comprehension of the work that the elementary does, and definitely no respect for the elementary. We need 2 copiers in the teacher's room at Alexander. We had 3 in the office, 2 in the teacher's room. We paid for them through the years, so why they should be replaced. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Klonick. So that does conclude our hearing of the public on school-related matters. So I'm going to move on to other business, and I want to take this opportunity. We've mentioned, Dr. Rocco mentioned at the beginning of the meeting that this is Mr. Scotto's last meeting, and he will be officially retiring in a few weeks. I just want to say thank you. I've had the opportunity to work with you on Curriculum and Instruction Committee. Over the years, we've had wonderful conversations, and you have done an amazing job here in Hamilton. Your dedication, your time, programs that you've brought, program of studies, you know that I'm a cheerleader of the program of studies, and I just really want to thank you for everything you've done, and I want to wish you the best in your retirement. Enjoy it, enjoy every single moment of it, and you will be missed. I'm going to go around. So, Dr. McSheen, anything for other business?
Yeah, again, for Mr. Scotto, who, when I joined the board in the exciting year of 2020, January, had a couple of normal meetings, and then it was straight into an emergency we've never seen before. And I just want to say thank you for, as a new board member, we were attending virtual meetings. I was trying to learn as a board person. You always reached out and just were like, hey, do you have any questions? As I was on the Curriculum and Instruction Committee. And everyone in the district had to work harder and adjust. But I just want to thank you for your leadership during that time, because it was, foundational to how we just kept going on, right? Just how we had to reformat learning and what it meant to do education in the spring of 2020, in the fall of 2020, going into 2021 even. So, that was my first experience with you, and it's been wonderful working alongside you the whole time. So really appreciate it. Wish you the best, and keep living life. Keep doing it. Thanks.
I, too, want to wish Mr. Scotto well. if you've never been to the NJSBA conference in Atlantic City, you know, on the final day, there's only a few sessions in the morning and it's pretty lightly attended. But for whatever reason, Mr. Scotto and I are always the crazy ones that stay till the end. So I've appreciated our discussions about what we found interesting and what we could implement in our schools. And I will miss you this year. You know, you're the only person I can share bad coffee and stale cookies with. Thank you so much, and wish you all the best in your retirement.
Thank you, Ms. Soto. Mr. Scales?
Thank you. And it's bittersweet in a sense, Anthony, because I was here when you started, and here I am as you're departing. And so we had a big break in between, but I commend you for your dedicated service to the children and the faculty of our school district. You will be missed and remembered for bringing in some innovative ways to change how we do things for the better. And so I thank you for that, and I wish you all the best in your well-deserved retirement.
Thank you, Mr. Scales. Ms. Stanton?
I, too, again, want to thank Anthony Scotto. It's been a great experience serving on the Curriculum and Instruction Committee and working with you. I know that in many ways, in your tenure here in Hamilton Township, you have done your best to improve our programming. I, too, have a great NJSBA memory of us noticing each other in the room. I looked back and there was Anthony's voice. When we were in a meeting about supporting our English language learners, and I really cannot thank you enough for your dedication to those students. As we know, that population has continued to grow over your years of working in Hamilton, and I have personally seen how successful that program is in preparing our English language learners to become more competent in the language and gain the academic success that they deserve. So again, thank you. Best of luck with everything. Enjoy your time off. Get some naps in.
Thank you, Ms. Stanton. Ms. Harvey?
I also want to congratulate Mr. Scotto on his retirement. While I have not worked on the curriculum committee, I do, as a parent, appreciate the care that you've taken in meeting with families and explaining to them curriculum concerns that they've had, and that you always make time for parents, especially when they have concerns. And the last 2 years have had some chaotic issues, especially with, should I dare say, the 2020 health standards. So I thank you for your patience and your willingness to work with families and address their concerns.
Thank you, Ms. Harvey. Dr. Ferrara?
All right, Anthony, I'll come clean. I'm responsible for how much of the gray hair in your head? We've had a lot of fun working together, and you know what? I'm coming down to the shore to play now that you're retired. We'll go out and have a nice dinner, because I don't go to the conference, so we'll just make up for lost time. Thank you for everything, and good luck.
Mr. Kanka?
Well, even though I never really had too many opportunities to work with Mr. Scotto, as a matter of fact, I've never had any opportunity to work with Mr. Scotto, and he's probably very thankful for that.
Given
But-
the reports, yes.
Exactly.
But your dedication to the district and to the children of Hamilton Township, I appreciate as a board member. As a retiree, I'm a retiree. Just remember, you don't have to get up in the morning anymore at 8:30 or 7:30, whatever you get up. So enjoy your time off. I hope you're not going to go make a ridiculous decision and go back to work somewhere. Just enjoy what you got, what you have, and you'll enjoy it every day. I know I do. I tried going back to work, and I just never liked it. I worked a lot of years, and when I finally left, Just like Mrs. Atwood, it's time to go. And she's probably the happiest person in this world on June 30th when she says, "Goodbye, Mr. Kanka." So, good luck. stay safe, and stay healthy.
Thank you, Mr. Kanka.
Mrs.
Seeing
Thornton.
that there's no other,
Mrs. Thornton?
yes,
I
Mr.
just want
Scotto.
to first thank the Board of Education for your very kind words. I'm very moved by that. I've had a blessed career of almost 32 years in what I call a vocation. And I am proud to have worked with all of you, to have served with this superintendent of schools, and to interact with almost 13,000 students and 1,800 staff members every day. So I thank you for believing in me. I thank you for believing in education. And I just encourage you to continue the good work that we have done, because it's about moving forward for our students. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Scotto. And with that, I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion passes.